at that part of the season where we do start having some bigger name injuries come through. Obviously a bummer, but that's kind of at least for is this 14 or 15 years?
This is season, so it's weird. It's always one off. This is
Yeah.
season 13, but we
Okay.
technically have been doing this for
14?
like 14 seasons because
Okay.
the first half, like our first season was half a season because we
Yeah.
only covered it was that we covered the end from basically post All-Star of the 20 I guess it was 2013, 2014 season. It's when the Spurs won. It's when the Spurs beat the Heat in the back-to-back finals. Like that was the first one we covered. And then
Okay.
obviously full seasons and off seasons every season since.
Yeah, and so, to that, you kind of start to recognize trends that happen each and every year. And usually by the time we're doing the third or fourth episode, about that getting closer to the 20 game mark, which we're about there. I'm, 5 games ish off from that with the teams. We start getting some of the injury news, the players sitting out or having to manage a tweak or a MRI getting done or something like that. And that's where we are. So we'll talk about some of the bigger ones that are coming out or happened in the past week or so. But to warm up, we wanted to talk about something that is at least to me surprising, because I feel like the vibes with the NBA in the 14 years that we have done it have never been lower. And we could talk about that too. But the NBA announced that through the first month of this season, the broadcasts across Peacock, NBC, Prime, ESPN have drawn over 60 million viewers, which is the highest opening month in 15 years. I will say, just off the fact that I was looking for something and happened to go onto Peacock and see a NBA game on there and go, cool, I'll watch that. That may be part of it, because in that case, I'm kind of a casual viewer from that standpoint of just I happen to stumble upon it. So it might be it's in more places that people are kind of going to at this point, over, streaming over cable conversation almost in a way. But to that, League Pass subscription are up 10%. A viewing time is up 8%. That kind of tells me that's more people that aren't just going to it. They're watching more, which is great. Merchandise sales are also up 20%. And to this stat, that 20% being up is actually driven by what they're considering next gen stars like Wemby. So you could also draw the conclusion that because we're going through this potential changing of the guard, from like a LeBron to a Luka type thing, there may be more intrigue now because we're looking for that next big star per se.
Yeah, a few things to kind of address all of what you said. I kind of want to, start in order there a little bit, because I'm sort of with you on the vibes thing. Like, I think last season especially, it felt like the vibe around the league as a whole was very gloomy. It was talking about a lot of, just it felt like it was all narrative driven. It felt like the
Yes.
X's and O's weren't as important
Yep.
anymore. It felt like the coverage on a national level had kind of gotten stale. And it felt like a lot of the necessarily like younger stars, the next gen that you talked about a little bit, kind of maybe hadn't settled into that role. Like we were just still kind of relying on LeBron, on Kevin Durant, on Steph Curry, who still are very much a part of the league. Obviously, we're not suggesting they go out anywhere, but no, I mean, it does. It's good to see these numbers translate. Obviously, like what a successful first month, and more importantly, too, the in season or the in person, excuse me, is matching. Like 10 teams have completely sold out every game. Atlanta and Charlotte, for example, the NBA put out in their release, are up 10% over last year. Second best in league history right now, 97% capacity league wide to this point. Like you can't really
You said it
fake it.
was who were the teams? Charlotte and
Charlotte and Atlanta were the ones up over 10%. There were 10 teams that have sold out every home game so far this
oh,
season. Those respectively are Boston, Cleveland, Golden State, Houston, Miami, New York, Oklahoma City, Phoenix, San Antonio, and Utah. So like not a lot of those teams you would expect, good teams,
yeah,
Oklahoma
Utah
City.
though.
Yeah, I mean, look at
I
right,
mean,
but that's what the loyalty of that fan base
yeah,
is paying off.
yeah,
And I mean, look, Utah's had a more
on the
positive
horn.
start to the season than I think they've expected so far.
Yeah,
No, I mean, I think that it being on NBC and NBC, it's two-part. Also, having done a really good job on their coverage so far has made it help. Like there is something about just a game being accessible on a basic cable channel that everybody has. Not to say that TNT is not accessible, but there is a little more with TNT.
Well,
You know, ESPN people know how to find it at this point, but like maybe somebody just doesn't flip to TNT on a random night. But like, or
well,
for
not even.
example, when you're out and about, you know, when you're at the gym, when you're at a
Yeah.
random coffee shop or whatever it may be, like that NBC is going to be what they have on potentially if they have an NBA game there too. So, like, I definitely think that's a huge part of it.
Dude, I can't tell you the amount of times that I'm like, oh, let me go check out to see what show on Peacock have I been watching? Revival, I think it's called. There's a new show. It's kind of like a horror thriller kind of show, and I'm like, oh, let me go. You know, Nicole's passed out. I'm in bed. I'm like, all right, let me just see if I can get an episode in. But I'm kind of tired. I pop on Peacock and I see that Cavs, whoever is the game of the night that they're showing. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just put this on instead. Like, I'm tired. I'm not going to be able to make it through a whole episode. I'll just watch this game a little bit. And obviously it'll help with the podcast. But again, it's just more of like, oh, I didn't realize this game was on there. Like, I've watched more random games than I have in years past. Usually when I'm putting on a game, it's like, well, who are the Sixers playing or whatnot? You know, like that's more of what I'll do. But now, because I go on Prime because I'm going to go watch the boys, and it's like, no, here's a Pistons Raptors game. I'm like, well, Pistons are the best team in the NBA right now. Might as well check them out. Like, see what's up.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of that, you know, going back to that real life thing, like that's a prime example with me the other night where it was like, yo, the Sixers are off. It's a Tuesday night, you know, with my work schedule now, I try to between Tuesday through Thursday, I'm in office currently. And so one of those nights I try to go work out. And so the Sixers were off that night, so I wasn't going to watch them, but NBC had Atlanta and Orlando on. And yeah, when I was on the
Oh,
treadmill
yeah,
for my cardio portion of the workout, I just was like, yeah, sick. I'm going to plug my
sure.
headphones into the TV. I'm going to link up and I'm going to watch Atlanta, Orlando. And I got way
Yeah,
more. And Atlanta, like, we're not going to talk about Atlanta a ton on this podcast, but you want to talk about trends and something that people should be watching. You know, Trae Young's been missing some time, and like Atlanta's looked pretty good, honestly. They've looked maybe better with Trae Young off the floor, which is an interesting development. Obviously, like that's in a position where you want to talk about somebody where we're trying to figure out their value, like what's next, what you know, what their impact on winning is. Like Trae Young, one of the players with more, you know, almost riding on this season, if you will. And so that's kind of an interesting trend to watch there a little bit. But no, I mean, back to the greater topic, like I do think some of the star power is evolving a little bit here, like these younger guys, like I think the NBA having a great finals last year really, really helped. Like the Pacers going on that Cinderella run with, you know, that made Halliburton a household name with SGA and with the Thunder winning. Like you have a team that's set to go. And it's not just SGA too. It's even with Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren on that particular team. Wemby is back and playing and looks like he is going to be the player that we all expected him to be. Cade Cunningham, you just mentioned the Pistons has broken out. Like Tyrese Maxey is having a career year. Like this is just across the board. Like that's not even including the guys who we've, you know, expected in the past few years, like Ant, like Jason Tatum. Like there are multiple, like the NBA has more talent in it than ever, which is kind of why it was odd to like with the off vibes where it's like, no, every team basically has somebody worth watching night in, night out who can go off. Like there aren't many, there's a couple, but there aren't many putrid teams in the league right now. And maybe that's a little bit of it too. Like there is the, you know, the parity factor has been real. We've talked about that. Like there are a lot of teams who have pushed all in. You know,
well,
I don't know. It feels like
and
the league though is kind of in a good place, and that's really remarkably saying something, Justin. When you talk about some of the like one of the big stories for the NBA this year is a massive gambling scandal. Like that's a good sign for the NBA when they're
yeah.
still pulling in viewers, given everything that's happened here in the first month.
Yeah, and to that, you know, you kind of mentioned the young talent, the rising stars, and then to the counterpoint with the Trae Young conversation, another player that maybe should be put into that combo, and maybe you'll tell me I'm crazy for that, but has felt significantly on the downward spiral side, is currently out with at least 2 weeks with a right calf strain. But like Ja Morant, I feel like I haven't heard anything about this guy. His again, it's 12 games, but points per game is significantly down. Last year was 23. He's at 17.9 right now. You know, been inactive the last 2 games with that injury, but at least the vibes around the Grizzlies and the Ja Morant stuff is like I feel like I haven't heard anything about him. And that's kind of surprising because at one point he was like in that conversation with the Ant, with the Wemby, with these next stars, and he may very well still be there. I mean, again, small sample size, but at least from all the negative vibes he had going on the last few years, plus the down in trend stats for this season, it feels weird. And the team's not playing very well, or at least record wise, not doing great. So
it's a very nuanced, in-depth conversation that Chase and I had 2 weeks ago where we talked about Ja Morant a little bit, because you're right, it's not getting better. And I think the injury that you mentioned here, the 2-week injury, like that's the huge part of it, because clearly Memphis is unhappy and clearly Ja Morant is unhappy. Like, it's just not a good relationship right now. We've had comments about the coaching. He had those comments about how the joy is gone. Like it's a lot right now. And it's a team that, frankly, I think after moving on from Desmond Bane, you kind of expected to trend downwards a little bit. But you're right. Like they were supposed to, not only was Ja supposed to be the face of the league, like the Grizzlies were supposed to be this like competitive Western Conference like powerhouse every year where they're competing for it. And they frankly had about 2 years of it, and they haven't been anything close since. So far, they've been also off to a pretty rough start this season. The problem is, though, given the injuries, given the off the court stuff, which you mentioned, what is Ja Morant worth right now? Like, if you're a franchise taking a swing on Ja Morant, what realistically are you giving up? Like, I know he's still young, but you're right. The play has objectively declined the past few seasons.
Well, and to that, you mentioned that if Ja Morant were to be available or being shopped around, if you're a team looking and you see what's happening with Atlanta, and maybe Trey is being shopped around, like at that point, who would you prefer? Probably Trey, because it doesn't come with the drama, and Trey still plays.
Trey plays that matters
level,
too.
Yeah,
there's way less injury risk with Trey. Like Trey's problem is that Trey is a defensive, like he just can't stop anyone. Like that's the problem with his size, is that he just will always be a defensive liability. You're going to have to tailor some personnel around him to make up for that, which is difficult in today's NBA. And I think that's part of the challenge that Atlanta has had with building around Trae Young. Trae Young is also one of the more offensively gifted singular forces in the NBA. Like, I'm not about to take that away from him either. Like, he's an unbelievably gifted offensive player. And so there's less risk with, compared to the injuries too, with Ja Morant. They're both getting paid big money, but like Trae Young, you would know, at least for the most part, is going to be on the floor. And you're right. Like, there's been a lot less headache off the court. I don't know. I think with Ja, you need to be in a situation, like, it just has to be a stronger organization. Like, you have to have an organization that is really gonna, kind of reel him in. And it's like, I mean, I hate to, I hate to be the culture guy, but like Miami is the first one. I'm like, go have him play with Spo, because if it's not working with Spo, it ain't gonna work anywhere. That's kind of the way I view that.
What's interesting is I just ran the player comparisons. So just to set the scene for anybody that doesn't remember, Ja Morant was drafted, was drafted in 2019. Trey was drafted in 2018. So just one season difference, really. Ja Morant has played 319 games. Trae Young has played 488. Like that's a very,
lot.
Again, that's I understand Trey's got a whole season on him, but still that's a lot more games. But head to head, Ja Morant's got him 5-2 in games where they've gone up against each other. But points, assists, percentages, 3-point at least, free throw.
Trey's a way better 3-point shooter than Ja is. It's not even close.
It's real, but it's surprising. Well, yeah, Ja's a 31% and Trey's 35%. Still both not great.
This season or career?
Career.
Wow, I thought Trey would be higher.
Or
than
at least
35,
that's what.
I'm not gonna lie.
This is the stat head sports.
No, I
reference.
believe you.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's but to that, like. Yeah, it's kind of surprising how much different that is. And to that, Trae Young's playing 32 minutes per game, and Ja Morant's playing 27 per game when they go up against each other in those 7 games. So
Trae really is a career 35. That's crazy. Wow. His best career shooting season was 21, 22. He was 38. I would have definitely thought he hit 40 at least one of those seasons. Granted, I high volume guy though too.
Yes,
but,
yeah.
His also was 192 in the 5 games this season, or 19%, I should say.
Yeah.
Not really helping too much. This, again, a small sample size was probably dragging it down a little bit there, but no, either way, like you said, injuries are a big part of it. It's an interesting conversation for sure. But definitely
Trey's VORP is surprisingly a lot higher than John Morant's. Like, I would have thought they would be a little bit closer. Ja's at 11.5, Trey's a 19.3. So
Ja's last few years have been bad, man. It's been a steady decline, and that's the thing, is like, this season has not really, it hasn't gotten better.
To them, both a negative defensive box plus minus, but obviously both positive offensive box plus minus. So when you take that into consideration, it's like, Trey's defensive is significantly worse, but his offense is better. So you go with the higher swing there, I guess. But so that also could work against the Grizzlies and John Morant if there is any potential to try to consider something like that, maybe this season or whenever. So I guess my only other question to you is, how much weight do you put into the other stat that I saw AP News put out about this NBA positive vibes kind of thing, is that social media engagement is up at a record level, saying the league's already had 30 plus billion views on NBA content across social platforms. Part of me is like, that's really cool. But at the same time, I'm like, what does that really do other than, I guess, show maybe people are interested in the NBA?
I mean, it gets people to watch the whole. I mean, if it gets them to watch games, like, I think the NBA has been one of the more, progressive leagues with social media. I feel like they've been trying to embrace it, market their stars that way. So, like, that, if anything, is not surprising. And of course, to the international game, I think the more faces you can get on screens and the more just attention to go seek it out. Like, even if they just watch highlights, like, I know that's ideally not the fan you want to bring in. You want to get them to watch the full games, but like, it's all promoting the league and the brand at the end of the day.
Well, and I wonder if this means the NBA leans a little more into streaming and just being in more places like that, which at least from, again, my perspective, just seeing what we have here, you would imagine that's probably the case. And I don't think a bad case. I would just hate for it to get behind a paywall of one that I don't have, because that's how that goes and whatnot.
And that's the whole other topic that we can talk about another day. But like, streaming, I mean, with the NFL, we've seen it all the time, is becoming incredibly difficult. It's like you're having to pay an exorbitant amount of money if you want to watch all your team's games this year.
And then you got everybody crashing out because YouTube TV couldn't come to a deal with Disney or whatever it was. And so now ESPN's wasn't on YouTube TV. And it's like, I had my dad calling me, be like, I'm moving to Fubo TV. And I'm like, all right, calm down. Like, it'll be fine.
I don't respect, honestly. But I mean, the Eagles play. The Eagles are playing in this Black Friday game, not this weekend, but upcoming, on Friday. And they're on Amazon Prime. So if you don't have Amazon, you're just stuck. You're not watching the Eagles. And for the Bears fans in Chicago, obviously, which shout out to the Eagles-Bears Alliance, by the way. We talked a little bit about off the mic. You want to talk about being online. That might be a little too online, but we appreciate y'all. It's a shame we got to play this year, given the success we have had against each other's division. Welcome, everybody, to the Drive Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rayfuse. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Justin Kuzart.
James Harden let me try that again. Draymond Green has a higher career high for three-pointers made in a single playoff game than James Harden.
I probably believe that only because is it that game 7 of the NBA Finals in 2016
where he had 8? Yep.
Yeah, dude. Draymond gets a lot of flack for getting them there. That is truly Draymond Green, game 7 in 2016 against the Cavs, which obviously they lost that game. Draymond had the game of his life. He was unconscious that game, defensively everywhere, but he was raining from 3-pointers. There were all those memes within a few seasons of him just shouldn't be allowed to ever shoot jumpers, and I'm like, this guy was it would have been one of the all-time performances in a game 7. I mean, it still is, but it'll just get lost to history because they lost. Draymond played his rear end off in that game. So yes, I believe it. He was you want to talk about coming up big when it mattered. They couldn't have got much bigger than that.
Yeah, he got 8 3-pointers in that game. That was May 7th. James Harden's career high for 3-pointers in a playoff game is 7. So just one behind Draymond, but thought that was a wild stat out there.
That's still the best game. Like you want to talk about like since we've started that game 7 of Cavs Warriors in 2016. That's the best game of basketball I've ever seen in my life. Like you want to talk about the stakes, you want to talk about how
Hmm.
close it was, the star power, like what was at stake for each squad. Like there was just it won't get. I mean, we've had some that get close for sure, but like I look back and go, yeah, that's the one I go to every time.
That was a good one. No, I remember that very much because I was very excited. The ending ended the way it did because it made me correct my prediction that everyone thought I was crazy for.
Yeah, you were
So I was
wild, bro.
like,
Cavs
wow,
were
here we go.
Cavs in 7 before it even started. That was crazy. But hey, look at you. You knew something. You
Here
knew
we are.
you read the tea leaves. If
I
you want to
guess
read
so.
the tea leaf, if you want to read the tea leaves and leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad, I'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
Head to Drive a Dish NBA on YouTube. We've got video versus the podcast there because by the end of the episode, if we have enough time, we'll hit an immaculate grid, try to guess some players and keep that rating as low as possible. So hit Drive and Dish NBA on YouTube. You can subscribe. You'll get notifications when new episodes are coming out.
Now, a word from our sponsors.
So, two injuries that we wanted to get into here is Sabonis and Wemby out for a little bit. Wemby, I believe it's 2 to 3 weeks with a strain. The coach, the Spurs essentially came out and they're like, we're going to be as cautious. We're not going to risk it. Of course, you're not going to risk it. Like, come on. But obviously, a blow you don't want to Wemby, who has been such a draw for the NBA, probably a big part of the surge that we were talking about in viewing. That dunk he had on Draymond was
Was
everywhere.
electric. Yeah, you want to
Right
talk about no,
after.
listen, you want to talk about the draw. I love it. He ain't scared either. That's what
Yeah.
I like, is he ain't scared.
No, and dude, that was so cool. So obviously the strain a bummer, but Wemby going to be sitting out for a little bit in terms of the standings. We'll see what it does. Spurs are in the top 4 of the Western Conference right now, just behind the Lakers, Nuggets, and Thunder. They're 11-4 on a 3-game win streak, 6-4 in their last 10. But very little wiggle room to falter if there is any losses to come from this, because the Rockets, the Suns, the Timberwolves are all just really one game behind them, half a game behind them in some cases. So, we'll see where that all ends up. But
Yeah,
obviously, at least from a blow on the Wemby side of things.
yeah, the separation is starting to take place, and you're right. Like San Antonio's been playing great. I feel like I've said it every episode, but like there was the challenge to see, you want to see San Antonio start to win some games this year. And like, yeah, so
They
far
are,
so good.
yeah.
15 games into the season, they're winning some games right now, and they look good. I mean, I think the continued bummer more than anything with Wemby being out is that he and De'Aaron Fox, who was the big addition for San Antonio last year, kind of pushed the chips in here a little bit. Like they just haven't really been able to spend a lot of time on the floor together. And I saw a stat which is crazy. They've actually played together more this year than they did all of last year, given Wemby's blood clots. Fox
Yeah,
had the finger injury
I
that he
don't
was
think they
dealing
ever got
with.
a game, did they?
Yeah, and so you finally start to see them get here because obviously, like Fox has dealt with some injuries this season. Wemby's been the
Mhm.
guy mostly playing. It's like, hey, we get into rhythm, and it seems like their games complement each other pretty well. Like that's the big takeaway. Is it's like, hey, this is a good pickup. Like this should improve their ceiling here. And just a little bit of a minor setback. And I mean, I think the good news with Wemby is it's just like again minor. They're being cautious. Like 1 to 2 weeks is not really going to set your season back a little bit.
No, but when it's
Yeah,
such little wiggle room like that, you do kind of
yeah.
see what happens. Because here's the thing: they drop, even just drop one game or two games, and depending on where the Warriors are and maybe even the Trailblazers, we'll see where they keep going. But like you drop a few games, and next thing you know, you went from 4th to potentially 9th, and that's where like a narrative can start. Like, oh boy, we're terrible again, which is not the case, but. So and because it's literally a game or two here, that's why the 2-week thing could be problemsome.
Yeah, shout out to Law Murray for that stat, by the way, on the Wemby and Fox playing more
Mhm.
together this season already than last year. Just 120 minutes together last season.
Okay, so they did get time
Um,
together. Yeah.
yeah, 120 minutes. They've played 123 minutes so far together this season.
Wow.
But Sabonis, on the other hand, this one, 3 to 4 week injury. He's got a meniscus tear, so that's obviously not a light one. Um, the Kings off to a pretty bad start, to say the least. 3-13 right now. They are the losers of 8 straight as of recording this podcast. Uh, I mean, we talked to Kings a few weeks ago, and I think the discussion was going to be, hey, we're probably blowing this team up at some point. Like, this feels like a team that is a prime, like, let's reset. We have players that can get value. I mean, Sabonis probably the biggest one. Like, I think there are a lot of teams out there who would trade for Sabonis. Sabonis still playing excellent basketball. But yeah, I think this is just more like this will further push them towards the everything must go fire sale. And you with guys like, with DeMar DeRozan, with Malik Monk, with Zach LaVine, like you wonder. I think everybody is on the market. And it's like, if I'm the Kings, I'm at the point too where it's like, yeah, you should be trading all these guys and starting over. Like, this team is going nowhere fast. The roster construction makes zero sense. It's unfortunate because, as we talked about, like the Beam Team season was only a few years ago. Like, the vibes were super high around this team. This is a franchise that hasn't won a lot in the past 20 years, realistically. And so it's kind of hard to say, hey, let's reset here a little bit. But man, the Kings are so due for a reset.
Yeah, and to that, the loss to the Grizz, I think was their 8th consecutive loss by double digits for the Kings. So
Jesus, man, like, oh rough. My God.
Dude. And to that point, they lost to the Grizzlies 137-96, and yeah, to your point, Sabonis is left as the highest paid player on the team, and they're a disappointing team, so we'll see where it goes. My favorite, just an observation, as I went to ESPN to pull up some stats on Sabonis, it was a tab for the Washington Wizards. They're doing a 2026 mock draft, so that's where the Wizards are on things already.
Somebody said, I went to the Kings Herald, which is one of the big Kings blogs out here, and the top headline is from Beam Team to I Want to Scream Team.
Dude, I love that.
Yo, that's hilarious. Who wrote this? Hang on, I'm gonna give him credit.
That needs some credit.
Oh my God, Akis Eurocostas, and I feel like I probably just butchered that pronunciation. But yo, shout out to you. That is a 10 out of 10 headline. Wow.
Yeah, dude. But you're 8 losses in a row, man. You got 3 wins on the season. The only teams worse record wise are going to be the Pelicans and Pacers and Wizards, and those teams also in that conversation of not having a good start to the season or already potentially looking at mock drafts for 2026. So, yeah, man, I would say just an observation as I'm looking at the Raptors at 11-5. Whoa.
Yeah, no, definitely one of the sneaky stories this year. I feel like that's going under the radar. They won their NBA Cup group. I mean, we'll talk NBA Cup as we start to get ready more towards group play. We're not going to do all the X's and O's of that right now. But yeah, they had a big win. They won their group already in advancing. They had a big win over the Sixers the other night. It's 6 in a row as we're recording this podcast. And I mean, they're up. I mean, they're only behind Detroit right now, nobody
saw that coming. 9-1 in their last 10 games, which only the Nuggets, the Thunder, and the Pistons either have that same record in the last 10 or have one less loss. Shout out to the Pistons on that one, who have won their last 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, too, because, none of these guys really jump off the page. Brandon Ingram's been playing well, but, we've kind of seen what it is of Brandon Ingram at this point. It's Ingram, it's RJ Barrett, it's Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly. I do like Quickly. I've always liked Quickly's game a lot. I feel like they need another big. Pirtle's good, but you probably need another one if you're going to really contend with this team or try to make a run at the East. But
it's interesting. Like you said, that one loss was to the Sixers, who beat them 130-120. But since then, beat the Nets, beat the Cavs. That's a big one. Yep. Beat the Pacers, beat the Raptors, beat the Hornets, beat the 76ers, like you were talking about, and blew out the Wizards, which you should do if you're a good team because it's the Wizards. But yeah, big win against the Bucks on November 4th. Beat the Cavs actually recently twice now. And so, yeah, that's stuff that is definitely, at least from a surprising NBA team standpoint, I think that puts them right towards the top. Because we didn't really expect much from the Raptors this year.
They're playing really good defense. They've got one of the lower defensive ratings in the league right now. All the underlying numbers are good too. Their point differential is good. And you're right. The biggest thing viral, if you quote unquote, that I've seen from this from the Raptors season so far is I don't know if you saw that clip where like Brandon Ingram throws his water bottle on the ground and dude, he soaks everybody, man. He soaks like all the
Oh,
camera people on baseline. He soaks their trainers. It was like, dude, like I know you're mad, but like leave the civilians out of it.
yeah. It's like poor guys.
Oh
I
man,
love that.
but no, yeah, definitely flying under the radar for sure, no doubt about it.
Teamwork, depth, and a decent defense will get you somewhere.
Yeah, no, it really will. I mean, that's you want to talk about the trends in the NBA the last couple of years. I mean, depth has been one of the big, all the teams that have won recently have had quality depth.
Wow.
Um,
Just from Raptors HQ, this 10-game stretch that they're 9-1 is their best stretch of games since 2020.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I kind of believe that. That makes sense. I mean,
Wow.
they've been pretty bad the last few years. I mean, they kind of mini blew it up. When Fred left and when OG left, Siakam got traded. They've been kind of in reset mode since then. But it's weird because they never fully reset because like you said, they went out and got Pirtle from San Antonio. They brought in a guy like
Ingram.
RJ Barrett, who's like, I mean, RJ's younger, but he's not like a reset guy
Even the
necessarily.
even the Ingram move, we were kind of like, that's interesting, and it seems to be
Right.
paying off. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. It seems to go. So, I mean, the other story that I feel like no one's talking about, just because I mean they won last year, so maybe we're not paying attention to it. But like OKC is 16-1 right now. Like they're
Well,
just steamrolling.
but that's just because we knew that was coming. Like, that to me, that's
Yeah, but
like,
like
well,
Jalen Williams
yeah,
has missed time too,
I
so
know.
like it's more just like I'm impressed. Like consider me impressed. The beginning of the schedule was kind of like a little bit softer, so maybe you weren't surprised there. But like no, they just keep chugging. I mean they
Mhm.
obliterated Utah the other night. I think they were on like a 33-4 run at some point. It didn't end up even being close. But yeah, a lot of credits to them so far. I mean, they haven't thankfully had to deal with injuries like some of these other teams have. But all right, who's balling, who's falling? Our NBA version of the stock market. We always like to start with the good before the bad. So Justin, I will start with you this week. Who is balling?
For me, it is going to go to Cooper Flag, who, by the way, is 18 years old. That is important for this part of the conversation. He is 18 years old. His birthday is December 21st. He'll turn 19 next month. But to that, Cooper Flag last night was 29.7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in 32 minutes. Which is, I mean, again, to point out he is 18 years old. This is, goes back to why he went number one. But he also becomes the second youngest player in NBA history to record a 25, 5, and 5 in a regular game. The youngest is LeBron James, who did it 3 times. So we'll see if Cooper Flag tries to get on that 3-time train as well. But yeah, man, what a baller, what a game, and very impressive for somebody who is 18 years old playing against literal adults.
Well, also maybe just don't like pronounce Cooper Flag as a bust when we're 3 games into the season and he's
Right,
kind of adjusting to playing point guard when has been a point guard traditionally.
right.
Like the kid has been hyped for a long time. He's a big prospect. I do love the overreactions though, and not take away from Coop because Coop is obviously balling, and I think he's going to be an excellent NBA player. But I already love because 2026 looks to be a like draft people are telling me that the 2026 draft is really good because I feel like that people are starting to say that every year. But this year in particular, they're saying, yo, no, like there's like the top 3, 4 guys all could potentially be franchise changers. But already the exaggerations are starting to get a little bit out of hand where you're like, all right, fam, where they're like, Cooper Flag would go 3 in this draft. And it's like, we don't know that. And like, that's kind of like, all right, guys, he's had a
We're
little bit
already
of
there,
struggle in the
yeah.
NBA and now he's going 3 in the next year's draft after he was a generational prospect in this last year. Like it takes time. All these guys are on a different development schedule. Like you said, he's 18 years old. Like the Mavs got one. They're a mess, obviously. We talked about the Nico firing last week. I think the Mavs have a lot of
Hmm.
decisions. I mean, it seems like they're going to put Anthony Davis on the market, which is a good call. Like I think they should honestly do that with everybody. Like I think you should blow this team up. Like you already blew it up when you traded Luca. So fully commit to blowing it up.
Yeah.
This whole small window thing didn't work. We don't need to rehash that. But yeah, the Mavs have an accelerated start to the rebuild because you have a blue chip superstar potentially
Yep.
prospect. Like that is the one good thing that they can hold their hat on by winning this lottery is like, yeah, Cooper Flag's a big addition. He's going to be good for a long time, and you don't employ Nico Harrison, so you don't have to worry about trading him potentially in 7 seasons, which is very nice.
Yeah, currently Mavs 5-12 on the season. They are 3-7 in their last 10. So that puts them about 12th in the West. So yeah, to your point, you fully commit to the rebuild, and maybe to your point, go get another player in this next draft that could be either another cornerstone or somebody to complement Cooper Flag, who already looks like a cornerstone. So
Yeah, the
um,
Mavs stink. They should absolutely be going for
yeah.
picks right now. Like they're not going to win anything this year. I mean, they're going to be in play-in contention just because it looks like the bottom of the West is a little more open than we expected. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's yeah, because you're right. Like Memphis has been down, Clippers have been down, Kings have been down, New Orleans is down. So it's like, yeah, it's a little more wide open. I mean, word to 9 and 10 in the West right now, being Portland and Utah.
Well, and to that, comparing Flag to LeBron for youngest player in NBA history for the 25 5-5, my falling takes us over to LeBron, who it has been brought up that LeBron can only miss 3 more games. That's three. We are not even 20 games into the season. He can only miss 3 more games until the end of the regular season to be eligible for All NBA. He has been All NBA for 21 straight years. But obviously, LeBron's older, so you think potentially skipping those back-to-backs would probably make sense. But, to be eligible for All NBA, go 22 straight years. I don't know what's in the contract in terms of potential more money if you make All NBA for LeBron, but man, oh man, that could be wild.
He has no chance of making All NBA now, unfortunately, and it is just because the injury risk. And also, by the way, we're full balling to you. Respect the full time Jack move. You told my balling to take a hike. We'll get back to that
Did
a
I
little
skip
bit.
over your ball?
No, well, no, so we'll get back, but no, with Braun, like, yeah, you're right. They unfortunately missing the first 2 weeks kind of took it out of it. I don't expect him at 40 years old to be playing on back to backs. Like, you're right. He basically has to play every game from here on out. I just don't see that happening. And especially if the Lakers keep winning, like this Lakers team
Yeah.
has been pretty good so far. The vibes seem high. LeBron's coming back and he's playing like less of a, I mean, that was part of what he talked about is where it was like, he, 12 assists in 30 minutes the other night. Like, he will always find a way to impact the game. And, kind of more in that Luka, takeover transition we talked about, it would be crazy to see that come to an end, and that would be unfortunate. But I love the quote from DeAndre Ayton the other day, who he caught apparently caught an alley-oop from LeBron during the one game. And after the game, he was like, "Yeah, I told him." He's like, "Man, that's only the second alley oop I ever caught from you. The first one I caught was I was at your camp in 8th grade." just like, man,
Bro, don't make him feel old. Also, in case you were worried, LeBron will not lose any money if he does not make All NBA. He is already earning the max he can, and it is not gate kept by an All NBA nod.
Yeah, I feel real bad by the billionaire right now, missing all NBA bonus. But no, I love too. It was cracking me up with him talking about Bronny moving out the other day. That was pretty funny. He's like, "No, man, we don't talk as much anymore. He's got his own place." Like, hilarious. No, balling for me this week is LaMelo Ball, and apparently his relationship with the Hornets. There were some rumors going around that he's starting to get ready to ask out. He's frustrated. He said following practice yesterday that he loves being here. He's just trying to win. Ball is the first max contract player in team's history. The ownership has said that he's a key piece of what they're doing going forward. The Yahoo report had basically come out and said that he was frustrated with the team losing. LaMelo, for what it's worth, also reposted that story with a clown emoji. So I guess that's what he thought about it. But yeah, I mean, look, they haven't been to the postseason the entire time he's been there. Like, he got drafted 2020. Granted, LaMelo's also missed a lot of time. So I think that's what makes it a little difficult here. It's like, yeah, I do think he's a key cornerstone of this franchise. I think he also has to be on the floor in order to be that, cornerstone. I don't know. Like, they're 4-11 right now. They're a full 3.5 games, almost 4 games back of Boston at this point for play-in, like, and kind of where that line is. Right, with him and Brandon Miller, like, you would start to hope this team would, put it together, start to win some games here eventually. But I don't know. I can understand the frustration there. They have not been winning.
Well, and I wonder if there's a situation, at least from the maybe some other places or people that do want LaMelo are putting that info out there to just see if something could get stirred up. But it might
You gotta
be
test the waters. I respect it.
it might be a situation. It might be like a Dame situation, right? He might like being in Dame's case, in Portland back in the day and stuff like that. So maybe that could be a similar situation with LaMelo, likes living in Charlotte. And that's not to say Charlotte's not a big city. It definitely is. but
I love, dude, Charlotte City. I like Charlotte, the city. I've only been one time, but I had an enjoyable experience when I was there.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. So I think it's just teams kind of putting some feelers out there to see if maybe they could jostle him free and potentially get him to a bigger market. But that happens with every smaller market sports team when there's a decent player on it. It's like, oh, go to a bigger market, you get more endorsement deals. I remember that happening with Trevor Lawrence when he got drafted over going to the Jets. They're like, oh, he's going to make 22% less off endorsements because he's in Jacksonville and not, Jersey or New York. And so whatever. But
I'll stand on your slander there. Call it Jersey. They play in Jersey, bro. The Meadowlands are in Jersey. They're not in New York.
Listen, I know what it is.
Shout out to my guy, Michael Frank, by the way, for housing me when I stay in Charlotte. I appreciate you, dude. All right. Falling for me this week is Giannis, who's also, you want to talk about some of the injuries that we've talked about this episode. He's going to be out as well, 1 to 2 weeks with a groin strain. Giannis currently 4th in the NBA in scoring. This happened during the Cleveland game. He ended up leaving in the second quarter. They lost that game. Look, it can get bleak for the Bucks fast. I guess that's my point. Is like Giannis is just steamrolling them to some wins here. The rest of this roster stinks. There's no way around it. It's just not very good. I'm interested to see. Huh?
They're 500. They're 8-8 on the season.
Yeah, they're 500, and then they're missing 2 weeks out Giannis, and they might be like Boston's going to be right up there real quick. It's bleak for Milwaukee, man. I just don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Like, it reminds me. I got in this another one where I wish I could cite it and give the credit, but like I read an article the other day that was talking about how like Giannis right now, it's like the last few years of Russ and OKC, where it's like, look, in Giannis's case, they've won a title, but in Russ's case, it's like they're so happy post KD to still have you. It's basically like, just do whatever you want. And so Giannis is like, that's what he has to do at this point. Like, the only way for them to be competitive is for him to just have the ball all the time and be like fully freak mode, which works to an extent. It's time to move on. Like, we need to Giannis needs to get back going. This team is doing nothing. Like, Middleton is gone. The Kuzma trade was a disaster. They haven't drafted really that well. Like, Brook Lopez is gone and Miles Turner's there now, and it's not like there's really any improvement at all. Like, it's time to move on for Milwaukee fans. So they got to, we want to talk about blowing this up. And I don't want to trade somebody like Giannis, but at least you can say you won a title. Like, that's what it all comes down to. The mission was completed, but like we need to get Giannis out of Milwaukee, man. And I'm not to get I'm not to get him out of the small market guy, but it's just like he's not winning in Milwaukee.
Dude, listen, I guess I'll just say, because I feel like it's kind of slanderous, but yeah, if the Bulls got a better record than you, it might be a sign to do something.
Yeah, like there are multiple teams that aren't expected to be like the Bucks in their mind. I feel like think they're winning the title right now. They're 10th. They're 10th in the East right now against teams that like you mentioned, Detroit, Toronto's way ahead of them. Miami post Jimmy Butler is ahead of them right now. Like Atlanta's better than them.
Miami is 10-6. I mean, that's another one that's kind of like, whoa, they should be on surprise watch.
Miami's playing well. Orlando's starting to turn it around a little bit. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Atlanta, like we said, has been playing all right without Trey. The Sixers, I don't know what the Sixers do. Every time I feel like Sixers turn the corner, something happens.
76ers still have a better win percentage than the Magic.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that game in hand is paying off right now.
I will literally die on this hill until the Magic have a better record than the 76ers. So I will continue to bring that up because Chase, I tell him every week in the hall or every day in the hall.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, look, the Sixers, Maxi's just going crazy. Like, that's the biggest thing right now. Paul George is playing again, which is nice to see, but it's just like, yeah, the Embiid situation still lingers over everything. Like, he just hasn't really looked good when he's played so far. Like, at least defensively, he's been a mess. the good news is now it doesn't seem like he has to be, but like, again, we want to talk about trends. That's definitely a trend we can watch going forward, among any. But all right, should we switch gears a little bit? Enough injury talk. Let's dive into some immaculate grid. Unless we just want to do our immaculate grid with nothing but guys that are known for getting injured this week. That'd be kind of
we could
kind of
try.
unfortunate.
We could try. I don't know how easy it'll be, but we could try to do injury risk as well.
The all injury team. But no, for the immaculate grid, if you want to watch it, you can always watch on YouTube along with full podcast. Just search Driving Dish NBA podcast. But for the listeners, our columns from left to right this week: the Bucks, the Sixers, and 1 steal a game per season. Our rows from top to bottom: the Warriors, the Timberwolves, and All Star. I don't think we have an Alfred Payton connection. No. It's already out there, unfortunately. Anywhere you want to start this week?
I know we've got the Iggy connect with Warriors Sixers.
Yeah, that's easily the most popular for that one. It's either Iguodala or it's Will.
Didn't Dario end up with the Warriors at one point?
Yep.
So Dario would be an interesting one. So at least just right off the rip, we have that. We could go Giannis with All-Star Bucks.
I mean that's the most obvious. I mean the obvious ones for All-Star and Bucks. I mean there's a couple honestly, like Giannis, Chris Middleton, Kareem.
Did Kyle Korver end up with the Warriors at any point?
No. With Bucks and Sixers, he would have worked. But
I know that's why I was trying to see if there was a connect there, and he never ended up on the Timberwolves either. So interesting. Okay. I feel like well, it's kind of recent.
I think Dario will be low if you want to do
Dario. Dario there.
Yeah, because I mean he'll be lower for sure.
Yeah, 1%. Oh wow. Okay. I didn't think it would be that low. I thought that was
Was he on the Bucks too? He actually would have worked. Now I say that. He would have worked for Warriors and Timberwolves, but they don't overlap.
Oh, okay.
He would have worked for Sixers, Timberwolves too. He was in the Jimmy deal, obviously.
Oh, Jimmy. Oh, well, there you go. Jimmy works for Sixers, Timberwolves. So
Jimmy works for Sixers, Wolves, and the other one that was involved in that trade, of course, was our boy Robert Covington. Covington was him and Dario. That was sad. I mean, obviously getting Jimmy was great and worth it, but like that hurt my heart a little bit. Like those were our guys.
Yeah, we could go Covington. I bet that would be low.
Yeah, I'm fine going Covington there. There's other like more random guys we can come up with.
9% still kind of surprising, but
I mean, I guess because he was involved in the Jimmy trade, that makes a little bit of sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's do.
Was Jimmy? He had to have been an all-star of the Sixers here, right?
Yeah.
We could go
definitely.
Jimmy there. We could go Jimmy there.
Yeah, we go Jimmy there.
To the full.
Brace my heart. Yeah, because I think we got him for the break. Oh, it's because of the break. We probably got him after the break. Then that's brutal. That's so unfortunate. Damn.
That's annoying.
That is annoying.
It doesn't even give us. Oh, it does give it down here.
No, wow, he wasn't an all-star. That's crazy. He was an all-star the very next year with Miami. He wasn't an all-star that year.
Was he putting up like 20 a game?
I guess because we got him from it. Yeah, that's weird. That's crazy.
Does it not count? That's interesting.
Well, he was an all-star. He was like in the MVP voting before the year before Minnesota. I mean, it doesn't count. It probably has to be with the team, so that's why it's that low. He was only with the Sixers for 1 full year. He must have been an
all-star in a season with that team when paired with that category. I don't know. That's weird. Okay, well.
All right. Well, that's it. What are you gonna do? I mean, Sixers all-stars. If we just for the sake of running through these, because I can. Iverson, Barkley, Irving, Moses Malone. No, like we don't need to answer this. We'll get to other ones, but like Moses Malone, Barkley,
that's gonna kill me that we as Sixers fans are not gonna have an entry
but
for
we know
All-Star 76.
Iggy,
dude.
Iggy would have been low there because Iggy only made it like 1 year, I think, but he was an all-star with us for sure.
I bet Iggy has a steal per game with the Warriors, 100%. Right? Yeah, let's
easily.
do Iggy there.
No doubt. Yeah, that's fine. Easily. IGUI.
Yeah. I gave up. I typed in Iggy and I realized I was a mistake.
I can't believe he's only 4% there. I mean, I guess with a
Yeah.
guard with Steph, you would think it's higher.
Well, I bet Draymond probably gets on that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
true. Yeah, Draymond's a good one there.
Clay probably would have been a good one for that
Yep.
too.
Yeah, any guard works
Yeah.
there. Any guard works almost anywhere.
Wiggins.
All right. Bucks and Timberwolves and Bucks and Warriors. The off the recency, the Bucks and Warriors, I think the one that's going to be like kind of obvious is Dante DiVincenzo. He was with the Bucks.
What about I know Ilyasova ended up on the Bucks, but I don't know if he ever made it over to the Warriors.
You know, I feel like he might have been on the Wolves though.
The Wolves might be, yeah.
Or the he was
Ilyasova,
for sure.
Because he went Sixers to the Bucks. Where was he before all that?
That's the problem. I don't know. I don't know. I know he's on the Bucks. I know he's on the Magic at one point. That's the extent of it.
Okay.
God, who else are Bucks at Warriors? There's another big one I feel like we're missing recently.
I think it's a big man. I keep wanting to say like Luis Scola or
No, who got to the Bucks at one point? Who's actually like pretty good on the Warriors? Or who I thought about for the 1 steal a game per season? Who we should do? We should do Monta Ellis.
Oh, Monta Ellis.
Monta Ellis definitely was in the Bucks for a little bit.
There he is.
Him and Steph, the OG Warriors backcourt. 12%.
Yeah.
Damn, wow. All right, good for him. All right, Bucks and Timberwolves.
Bucks, Timberwolves.
Oh, Teague definitely works.
Teague definitely works. Yep.
There's another one though who I'm trying to think.
Rondo was on the Wolves. He never ended up with the Bucks.
I didn't even know Rondo was on the Wolves. Honestly,
I'm pretty sure he was. Yeah, I think he was. Not Rondo. I'm sorry. Rubio. Who's I'm thinking? Who is?
Yeah. Rubio was definitely on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Rubio was very much on the Wolves.
Rubio for 1 steal per game might be
definitely
sneaky.
works. Yeah, I think he'd work. There's no way Rubio would have 1 steal a game.
Yeah, 16. Okay. That's actually kind of surprising.
High. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess makes sense. Popular guard. 1 steal a game at All-Star, you have so many choices too. That's actually hilarious. I'm just like I'm gonna let's do. Who's the first person that comes to your mind with 1 steal game per game in All-Star? Just
Zach Randolph.
First one that comes to mind.
Zach Randolph. Now we're not sure.
I can't believe you went big there instead of guard. That's why I'm just surprised. I'm sitting here. I'm like.
You said name somebody. The first person that came to my mind was Zach Randolph, and then the second was what's his name, the coffee guy from the Spurs.
You know, Randolph. Do Randolph. That's hilarious. He'll be low. It's gonna be a decimal percent.
Oh wait, no. Hold on. Oh, he's not gonna be All-Star though. I was trying to think of what's his name from the Thunder. He never scored, but he was always like crazy.
Roberson? Yeah, no. There's no way he was All-Star. No, no. You gotta do Randolph. Randolph's gonna be hella low there because me laughing shows how low he's gonna be. Because I would never think of Randolph as that guy. 0.1%. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't even know he was gonna have the steals. Honestly,
I was worried to be honest a little bit, but once we lost that 1 Sixers category, I was like, whatever.
Zach Randolph.
Bucks All-Star. I mean, the obvious ones are Kareem, Giannis, Chris Middleton, Ray Allen. I'm pretty sure,
but he has to be All-Star with the team, right?
He still might have been. Dame was an All-Star every year. Dame would definitely work there.
You want to go Dame?
Yeah, kind of. I didn't, but kind of. I was gonna see if Sam Cassell or
2%
nice. No, I was gonna see if Sam Cassell or Glenn Robinson worked there. I want to go back now. I want to look. Sam Cassell. No, Sam Cassell actually wouldn't work there. His only All-Star team is in Minnesota. Glenn Robinson, would he work there? Oh, Sam. I guess that just gave one away. I can't use Sam Cassell for Bucks in Minnesota now. That was cheating.
I was actually thinking. Yeah,
Glenn Robinson did. Glenn Robinson had 2 All-Star appearances in Milwaukee. All right.
Who was on the team with Jimmy when he went third team versus first string? Did any of those guys end up with
Teague?
The Bucks?
I think Teague was there. Yeah. Teague is the one that comes to mind. I think the other one was Thad Young ever on the Warriors. I know he's like an immaculate grid darling.
Not Warriors. Bucks.
Wolves, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was on the Wolves. If Thad was on the Wolves, he was definitely on the Bucks.
Thad would be good. I just don't know.
Right?
Um, Evan Turner, did he ever end up on either of those two? Just as we're talking about random Sixers that ended
No,
up on a
I don't
bunch of
think
teams.
so.
Because he was on Portland, he was on Pacers.
He's on Boston.
So was Thad Young. Yeah.
You want to go Thad?
Teague?
Let's just
Teague? You want to go Teague?
Yeah, I feel better about Teague than I do about Thad. I don't want to do two where we missed, man.
I know. There we go.
Right,
what was the percentage? 8%.
That was lower than I expected there a little bit. Not gonna lie. All right, most popular guesses this week. If you want to scroll down, no, we went overtime. Overtime is cheating.
Accept defeat.
All right, so most popular guesses. Oh, Bogut. We didn't even talk about Bogut. That's right. Yep. He went number one. So for Warriors and Bucks is Andrew Bogut. For Wilt Chamberlain for Warriors and Sixers. Look at old school getting the love. You love that there. Steph for Warriors, one steal a game per season. Sam Cassell was the most popular for Bucks and Timberwolves. Jimmy Butler for Sixers and Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards for Wolves and one steal a game per season. Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is hilarious that they just put Giannis because they don't want to fit the whole thing in. But for Bucks All-Star, Joel Embiid for Sixers All-Star, Michael Jordan for All-Star in one per game per season.
37 connects for the trade. Let's see who's the most.
Sam Cassell, Joe
Ingles.
Smith. Oh yeah, Joe true. Ingles. He did spend that year. That's right. DiVincenzo, we mentioned.
Craig Monroe, Torian Prince, Cannon.
I can't believe Cannon works. That's crazy.
Wow, only 4 games. Mo Williams.
I love that Sean Kilpatrick is the guy you picked out of that list. There's so many guys there. And I'm like, Sean Kilpatrick. Oh, okay, sure. That's the guy we would have got.
Luke Ridnour. Come on. Michael Beasley.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to go back to our grid for one last look?
Yeah.
All right. So we got 8 out of 9 again. Weirdly, the Sixers All-Star is the one we missed there with Jimmy. God, yeah, hate that for us. But all right. So for Bucks and Warriors, Monta Ellis. For Sixers and Warriors, Dario Saric. For Warriors, one steal a game, Andre Iguodala. For Bucks and Wolves, Jeff Teague. For Sixers and Timberwolves, Robert Covington. For Wolves, one steal a game per season, Ricky Rubio. For Bucks All-Star, Damian Lillard. And for All-Star, one steal a game per season, Mr. Zach Randolph. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Appreciate you guys as always. Listen to the show wherever you get your podcasts.
And you can always find the show on YouTube. Search Drive and Dish NBA on YouTube, and you can find us there. Sorry, I'm looking at Sixers, Golden State Warriors. We missed a ton. We missed a bunch.
Yeah, no, they have a
lot. Buddy Hield, Melton. Yeah. Dario, Kelly Oubre, Alec Burks, Willie Cauley-Stein, Glenn Robinson.
Willie Cauley-Stein is gross. That's awesome.
Swaggy P. That would have been a good one.
I knew Swaggy P. Matt Barnes works.
JaVale McGee, Justin Holiday, Dwayne Dedman. Holy man.
I didn't know Dedman was in Golden State. That's crazy.
4 games in Golden State in 2014. Wow. Played 19 games for us.
Oh yeah, Dedman was a process. Like he was an OG process guy. He ended up having if you want to talk about guys who processed, he had one of the longest careers after that.
You know, actually, here's another few. Maurice Sprates. I don't know if we mentioned him.
Mo Speezy. Yep.
Carl Landry. That's a good one. Raja Bell. Raja
Bell's a good one. Shout out to Raja.
1 game for the Warriors.
That's crazy. That is actually crazy.
Marco Bellinelli, Matt Barnes. Last one. Always a Drive and Dish darling, Tolliver. Anthony Tolliver.
Oh my God. Towards the end of his career, the Sixers. So many of these were at the end of their career on both of these respective franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the connection is strong. I mean, hey, the Warriors used to be in Philly back in the day, way back. If we want to dig into it, that's where Wilt won his first title. So, the alliance remains strong, if you will. We'll catch you guys next week.